So great. Welcome to the pre-launch intro call of the CEO of your business. I'm very excited that you guys are here. And like Jessica said, thank you for just investing your time in this. And thank you for joining us here. And as I'm talking right now, I can already feel the energy because we've had a couple of conversations about this, and even Deanna and I talked about this a couple of days ago, where this is, yes, we're talking about an idea. We're talking about, well, this is a course or something that's been set up, but like, it's not just a course. And we are actually completely open for it to become whatever it wants to become. Like it's not up to me, it's not up to us. It's whatever this creation wants to become. And that also depends on those that are joining and that are willing to put the energy in it. So for that, I just want to thank all of you for just to be here and to put your energy and your time in, because starting with that is already such a gift. And there were a couple of things that I really wanted to talk to you guys about. So the CEO of your business was actually just designed to come up with ways to share knowledge, come up with ways to think of how we can get together and work together and create space just to create greater for everyone. Last year, Deanna and I started the Facebook group Conscious Leadership, and Conscious Leadership was all about building the energetic arc. And it's about building the energetic arc of allowing people a space where we can all share and we can all get together, and we each have our unique capacities. And when we bring those together and we unite, we bring it to oneness. That's what we're supposed to do. We need to reach out to each other, touch each other's hands, and just shine our light. And another thing that came up for me in that time was, what if we don't have to do anything? Like, what if there's nothing that we should do, and all that we get to do is to love unconditionally and shine our light? How easy would that be? And how much peace and joy would that bring you, instead of the doing and finding out. And you hear a lot of people talking about healing, and I'm not saying that that's not good. I mean, of course, there's a way of healing, but what if we are already whole, right? What if we are already perfect in all of our, imperfect beingness, or, whatever you would call it. So that was the way that I was looking at this. And then there's this way of, being in this world, and what are we creating? And what are we being asked to do here? Because on one hand, what if we just get to love and to shine, and that's all we do, and just enjoy life and just have pleasure and fun, and all the good things in life. And on the other hand, there's a serious thing going on, right? There's this evolution of consciousness. And everything that is right, wrong, good, bad, apocalypse, short, voice, poets, and beyond. And I'm going to explain all of that later, what that was, but I just felt the energy come up. So yeah, there's this evolution of consciousness where we just see that, the world's been taken over by the darkness. And it seems to a lot of people that it's winning when it's actually not. So next to the joy, and next to the fun, and next to not having to do anything, we have a serious job to do. And how do we actually, would you say, combine those two, or maybe balancing out those two, whatever you want to call it, whatever works for you to look at it. But to me, it was that. And then looking at the creation here, the CEO of your business. Well, that's a couple of things. Like, the CEO of your business is, first of all, are you willing to be the CEO of your life? Are you willing to be the CEO of your business? Then the other part was, what if you're not the CEO of your business? What if you are merely the co-CEO of your business? If even, maybe you're not even the CEO, because your business, your life and your business, your job and whatever that is an entity on its own. And it knows where it needs to go, and it knows where it wants to take you. So wherever we think that we are in charge here, what if we're not? And what if we would allow the energy of our business to guide us, to lead us, to be the CEO, and to take care of us? I was like, my business was telling me, like, are you finally willing to let me take care of you? Like, will you finally just stop and relax and let me take care of you for a change? I was like, well, what do I get to do? It's like, well, you just get to be the pretty picture for the outside. It's like, oh, all right. And he's like, I want to take care of you. And, whatever way you want to look at it, right? There are people that really like to look at it from the point of view of, the Lord speaking through, the Spirit speaking through. Other people want to talk about the universe. I couldn't care less, right? God couldn't care less. It's like, it doesn't matter what names we use. It's about the meaning, and it's about our intention, and it's about the love flowing through, and it's the light flowing through, and not judging any of it. No judgment, because we're not here to judge. So with that being said, I was asked to look at the scripture and to read Corinthians. And I was like, okay, I don't even know what it's about. And maybe that's a terrible thing, but I don't. And so I started reading it, and what it said, it was showing the ways that we create life and business. And it was showing that we can do all kinds of things, but it will not progress and it will not thrive unless the Spirit flows through it. There's the light and the Spirit that wants to flow through it. And that doesn't mean we cannot be successful without it. There are many successful businesses, that make money. But the question is it for your highest good? And this is very funny, when earlier we were talking about, is it a fuck yes or a fuck no? And whenever you perceive the energy of it, and you ask, like, is this a fuck yes? If it's not a fuck yes, then it's a fuck no. Like, you can choose anything that is a slight yes, or a maybe yes, or it could be good, but then is it for your highest good? And for me, the choice now is, I want to choose everything that is for my highest good, that is intended for me. And that's why, and some people are like, well, you're not supposed to swear. Well, I don't give a fuck. If it's not a fuck yes, it's a fuck no, because that will allow me to reach what's for my highest good and what God has intended for me. And that's the way, if going back to Corinthians, it's where it says, we are here to, like, when we look at just loving unconditionally and shining our light, we can also take action, right? We are also here to take action. And when we take action, we plant the seeds. But then it's not up to us to decide how that seed gets to grow. That's where the Spirit flows through. And if all we get to do is be present, we take our actions and we make our choices from the fuck yeses, that's where we go to our highest good. And I was having the conversation the other day with a friend of ours, and was saying, well, there are so many businesses coming to the surface, right? So many coaches showing up, and I probably, you see it all the time, where you see all these coaches saying, hey, you're a 7-figure business and do this and this and this, and here's your strategy, and take this course, and there's this guarantee that you'll blah blah blah. Yes, I think strategy partially works. And I think for many people it would work, and they are managing to create thriving businesses and make a lot of money, and not even do it from a place of darkness. I think, you know, a lot of them do come from a good heart. But the question is the spirit flowing through it? And is this for your highest good? Is this for the highest good of humanity? Is this for the highest good of the planet? And for me, and not just for me, but I'm also looking at Jessica here, and I'm looking at Deanna here, is like, we want to go for the highest good, and we want to go for everything where the spirit flows through it, and nothing less. And I actually want to take Deanna into this, because we had another part of the conversation where we were talking about, she was teaching me about the oil, the grain, and the wine, and the way that we could bring that into place. And I just want to give it over to Deanna right now to just have a little conversation about that, unless some of you have a question about what I just said. So please, if there's anything, just fire away. And welcome, Andres, to the call.
The only thing I was going to add to that was just about like what Mindy expressed at the beginning, just the energy of that, where she was really honoring, like, I'm going to go to these interviews that I have, but I'm not going to commit to anything unless it's absolutely what I'm, because there's it's like you can see she's at this pivotal place where she's moving into the creation that she's creating, her and Eric both, like what they're creating to benefit the planet, to benefit everyone individually. And so it seems counterintuitive to go get a job that isn't fulfilling that. So there's this,
right.
but there's the need of money to serve, you know, to actually pay the bills. So I just wanted to, I felt like that was such a great laying of a foundation,
right?
Because that's a lot of people's, it's stepping into who you really are and the creation
right.
that you are. The calling that's you know, that you signed up for before you ever came, you know, that because of the collective consciousness right now, that's really shifting people to that place. But there is that dichotomy happening, and there's also that transitional time.
Yes, yes.
So
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for that. And there are a few things coming up, and the first thing that is coming up is trust. Like, I get it, like, you don't want to take a job because there's something else, but then there's like, but I have to take that job because I have to pay the bills. It's like, do you trust that you will be taken care of? And this is where I love bringing in the questions that I use all the time. Is like, truth, do you trust? Yes or no? Right? And there you get into the energy and be really honest with yourself. Like, truth, do I trust? Well, no. All right, cool. That's information. Apparently you do not trust. If that's the case, right? You can get a yes as well. It's like, if you don't trust, okay, well, what would it take to trust? What will it take to be willing to put my trust in the universe, in the spirit, that I would be taken care of? Like, would I really be going through all of this and, you know, for the universe to not have my back? So that's one part. It's the trust part. And so I am, let me guess, what is that? There's some heaviness here. I don't know who that belongs to, but it's fine. I'm just going to go over it. If it comes up, it'll come up again. So everything that is, let's destroy and uncreate it, right, wrong, good, bad, Balkanizers, boys, poets, and beyonds. Anybody who doesn't know that, it's sort of when I feel an energy coming up, the energy comes up, and this is a clearing statement that I use from Access Consciousness, and it just allows the energy to just release. So whenever I feel that coming up in a call, I would definitely use it. So there's a trust part here, and the other part, what Jessica was saying, is I also wanted to do that in, you know, when we call the CEO of your business, it touches on different points. But also the money flows. And a topic that Deanna and I also have been discussing, it's like, money goes anywhere. Like you hear a lot of people saying, oh, just raise your frequency, the law of attraction, da 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 da, right? And yes, that's not a lie, that's true too. But it's not just a matter of raising your frequency, being in a higher frequency compared to the, instead of being in lower frequency, because money doesn't have a point of view and it'll go anywhere. Money goes to unconscious people, anti-conscious people. It goes to money that want to do good with money goes to people that want to do good with it and that want to do evil things with it. Right. And maybe even now, if we look at the world, money is more in the evil places, in the dark places, than it is in the good places. So money doesn't have a point of view, and it's not just a matter of raising your frequency and you're done. So we were also talking about redirecting the energy of money and allowing it, like giving it an assignment to do something else. But I also see it like you could do that, of course, on a personal level, but I also see it as a collective thing. Like imagine if we would collectively redirect the energy of money to be used for good instead of evil. How much more powerful would we be if we would ask consciously for money to do that? So that is also part what I would like to set up in the classes. And there's this other thing with the energy of money, and it just slipped my mind. It'll come back. But it's oh, sorry, you're on mute, Jessica.
Something that came up in my spirit this morning was just, again, going back to telling yourself the truth. And I don't know if that's what's coming up, but it has to do with
what was coming up? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Telling yourself the truth.
Oh, yes.
Yes. That was something that came in my spirit this morning, and I felt like it came back up again as you were talking about truth. And so I think there's such a factor there, because for me, I have found so much freedom. And I was literally from the beginning of January last year till I launched my business in October, was telling myself the truth about everything.
Yeah.
It really brought up so many things that got cleared out of the way that allowed me to, for the first time in my life, as October came around again, to actually step into my destiny. Because the years before that, I would hit a wall and I would go around the mountain again. And it seemed like every time I was ready to launch out, something big would happen that would take me out of everything I thought I was going to do. It's almost like I was put in another season of like rest or unrest in my heart, because I really wanted something and wasn't happening. But so I just feel like there's something in that not just about telling yourself the truth and being honest with yourself about where you're at, your fears,
yes,
all that kind of stuff. So I know that those will be addressed in all the clearings and all
yep.
those things in the actual signature course. I don't know if we're going to do a little bit of that today for anybody who hasn't been actually introduced to Access Consciousness or the giftings that you have and what you bring. For me, it's been life-changing and very empowering since I've met you. And I know I've told some of the people that are on here that I invited, especially come to the free one, because you just, anytime I've spent time with you, Ruby, for what you offer the world at this time, it has empowered me to truly take off anything that was in the way. It almost like comes in and like clears the way. And then it's like all this limitless.
I'm like a bulldozer.
Yes, that's what happens. So that's just, I feel like that's a really important, valuable part of the signature course that people wouldn't get somewhere else, that has to do with their business, being honest with themselves and clearing out things that have always come in your way that you don't even know why. Like, why does it every time I get to this point, I get stopped again? And so anyway, I just felt like that was really important.
No, beautiful. Thank you for bringing that piece. And it's actually also just a little bit what we saw earlier when I was asking about like truth. Do you trust? Right? It's exactly what that is, because sometimes we think, well, of course I trust. Of course I do. Why wouldn't I trust? Why wouldn't I trust? But then when you look at the energy and you're really 100% honest to yourself, and then you look at it and it's like, oh, I actually don't trust. That is honesty. Like that is like admitting to yourself and not knowing it. It's not like you on purpose, you're not trusting, right? Because we feel like we really do trust or you want to trust. But it's like, well, apparently in the energy, you really don't trust and energy doesn't lie. So that will show up, regardless of what you think, that will show up because that's the energy. And then if you're completely honest with yourself, saying, okay, so I don't trust. Fine. Now what to do, right? And it's the only time when you can change it is when you are aware of it, then you can address it. And then the change comes into place, then knowing what question to ask. Like, okay, so what will it take to be willing to trust? And am I not trusting the universe? Am I not trusting the spirit? So am I not trusting me? Like, what's going on here? Oh, so I do not trust me. Okay, well, that's interesting. Why wouldn't I trust me? And then we dive deeper into what that is, and then you clear it, and like it's out of your way. Exactly. And then the other thing is what you're saying, Jessica, with anything else that you keep coming back to that same spot. It's like, why can I not get past this part? Why can I not go over this? You seem to go in circles, and then finally you get to a point where it's like, oh, now I can go beyond this, and then it doesn't happen. So something that we would definitely address in the course, and for now, maybe if we would do an example, if that would work out, we could probably do it with one. But of course, the idea is anybody on the course will go through that. So many times when we hit this wall, it's because we have former contracts or promises. And many times they're not even ours. There's this whole ancestral line. There are all these promises that were made many years, centuries ago, I don't know how long. And then they were given down in the ancestral line. And that goes really deep. And those promises or those contracts were made in very dark places. And then it doesn't matter, how far along you are in your consciousness or in your commitment to the spirit in this lifetime, because there's this hidden contract that you didn't even make, but you just got it, right? And you took it over. And it's like a regular job in this lifetime. You cannot just start another job if you still have a contract with your current employer. You got to finish that contract, unless, of course you can have multiple things going on, but just basically before going to another like full-time company, you're going to have to finish that contract, and then you end it and you go to the next one. If we have all these energetic contracts and they're still in place and we don't know that they are there, this contract is going to make sure that we hold our end of the deal. And if that deal could be, I will not trust the spirit, then you will never be able to trust it because you made a commitment in that contract. And this is just an example. And this might be true for some of you. This might be true for nobody. And this might be true for all of you. I don't know. I get laughter here from next to me. It's like, wow, there's some truth over there. But yeah, and exactly. And thank you for pointing that out to me, Jessica. It's like, that is authenticity. That is finding the truth. Even if it's hidden, even if we don't know that it's there, we're going to get to it. We're going to unlock it, and we're going to get to our highest good.
And it's really a lot simpler. Ruby makes it so much more simpler. It's like it's simplified it. It's like, oh, there it is. Let's get rid of it. There we go. Now to the next
right.
one.
It goes fast.
It's so fast and simple. You're like shocked that it's that simple because it's held you back for years. I mean, it's at least that's been my experience. So I really want to skip over that because I think that's part of the course is getting one-on-one with you and then going through all these different clearings and things. You would be amazed, and that alone, before we get into anything else, would be worth it to show up, because that's what I've done with her privately, and it's changed my entire, I mean, you guys, my business, even my flow in the energy work that I'm doing went from 30 to 40 minutes to over an hour. Talk about co-creating every day. Talk about expansion. I mean, in a month and a half, like boom. So, and that's just the iceberg. It's limitless because every day I'm getting creativity, I'm getting ideas and things I can add. And I've just never been in such a creative space, but I believe it has so much to do with the clearings to get all that stuff out of the way.
Right.
So I think it's a fundamental thing, and I love that it's the beginning of the 6-week course because it's going to be beautiful.
Right, yeah. So for those, and then we're gonna go to Deanna, I promise. But for those that don't really know or haven't seen it, what Jessica's talking about, that if we talk about the 6 week course, well, first, I actually don't want to call it like a 6 weeks course, but because I think it's something bigger than that in total. But we're gonna do like a one-on-one onboarding with everybody. Then we're gonna have 4 weeks of, once a week group sessions, and then there's gonna be a bonus session. And the bonus session, I'm getting really happy just to think about it, because the bonus session, well, you're gonna read about it. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's gonna be amazing. And well, like I said, it's that part, it's what we're doing, but also it's the beginning of something. So everybody who is on, and I just call it the beta launch or whatever it is, but it's just the seed that we're planting. Everyone that is on the first one, it's co-creation. Everything that you guys put in, we're gonna use that as a foundation, and we're gonna build on top of that. And we're just gonna let the spirit show us where to go, and we're gonna take it one step at a time, because that's the way that we're supposed to create. We're not supposed to plan everything out. We're not supposed to have this whole system worked out yet. It's gonna be shown every step of the way.
That process, teaching people that process, that's a surrender. That's the process.
That's a surrender. Absolutely.
Many people don't really know how to truly surrender to the spirit. And some people that are very A personality, everything has to be dotted and crossed. They want to get all that perfectionism laid out first, and then they'll take their step. But this being a part of a co-creative process where you see it expand into limitless, you can go anywhere, to have the freedom, you want to surrender because you want to see how big it can be and how big you can be. And when you enter into that process, now you're in a place of limitless flow that is incredible to feel. I'm experiencing it for the first time in my life.
Awesome.
And it's helping other people. So it's a win-win.
Right. How does it get any better than that? Absolutely. Absolutely.
But don't forget, it's about your business and help other people.
Yeah.
It's going to help you as well.
So Deanna, do you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about the oil, grain, and wine?
I'm actually going to go a little bit of a different direction right now, because I feel like Spirit wants to say a few things before we touch on that, if that's okay.
Yes, good. Absolutely.
So first of all, I'm Deanna, and it's like this month was a year that we started creating together. Yeah, so I'm not going to go into the story of like how that all came about, but literally like today, this right here is such an honor to be a part of this, Ruby. But like this is a manifestation of things that we spoke into existence, over the years and conversations that we've had. So, kind of a verse that is like been really strong for a long time that we're living out right now. It says, "Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit." And Ruby has literally changed my life in the way that I view things, the way that I do things, through like learning how to engage with spirit. I come from a strong religious background and she didn't. So, together we've just had a lot of interesting conversations, and it was just really interesting how she could follow spirit and not really maybe even understand the fullness of what she was doing. And I don't know, just the way that we co-create together has just been really amazing. But I was going to kind of go into something for a minute about Mindy. She's like kind of a little bit in the hot seat right now. But we can use all things, it's not about just one person, but we can learn as we engage and listen. But also what I wanted to say is like through like learning about quantum entanglement, just by showing up and being here today, you're getting access to something just through engaging together and through quantum entangling with like who we are in the Father together. I don't know if that makes sense how I said that, but it's just like if you can catch the energy of it and understand, this will like open up gateways and doorways for you that you have not had access to before. So just be mindful of that. I'm just like creating as I speak it is what I'm doing right now. But with Mindy, I don't really know anything about you personally. I just kind of heard your heart a little bit this morning as you were sharing about the interview and the job. Like I have a job, but it's not about the money for me. Like I went through a lot of different processes, if you will, leading up to this point to develop my trust level. That a job or any one person or business is not ever my source. My source is always from the Father, from Spirit. And in that, I can trust wherever Spirit tells me to go and where He tells me to be. I will just go there and always trust that the manifestation that I need will come, if that makes sense. So I don't have a job because I need a job to create manifestation for me in some way. I'm just obedient to Spirit. So I'm there either for an assignment or a connection or to learn a pattern for myself that I'm creating. And so there's a lot of things that I do within just normal day-to-day life, if you will. And it always teaches me something. You know, you can learn something from everything. I think sometimes we try to over spiritualize things and we just forget to how to use the simple things to learn things from. And so a lot of times when I live out, you know, the natural things in life, it's teaching me a pattern. And it's teaching me a pattern from the Bible as a plumb line, right? And so if we can understand what pattern we're operating from and what pattern we're sitting under, you will know what it will create. And so like, I don't know if kind of like what I was feeling is like, uh, sometimes I'm just really direct. And so I don't know how to like be soft like Ruby. So I'm just going to say
Be
this and
soft.
please hear my heart. What's that?
She's straight.
It's like I know where to go to like deal with the thing that is creating the twisting or whatever you want to call it. And sometimes it like sounds a little bit hard, but it's like addressing the energy of something that is creating the situation in your mind, if that makes sense. And so it's I don't think it's so much about what to do or not to do as the position that you're sitting in the and what heart position you're making the decision from. Does that make sense? So I think that is the most important thing to look at is like what position are you sitting and making the decision from. So maybe that was the heaviness that Ruby was feeling. Like that was kind of what was in my mind when she said that about the heavy energy.
Thank you.
I don't know. I'm just I don't really know what I'm saying. Sometimes I just open my mouth and things just come out and I just trust it. You know what I mean?
Well, the
So
heaviness is gone, so that's good.
what did you say?
I said the heaviness is gone, so that's
Oh,
good.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I honor you, Ruby. I wanted to say that, you know, just being connected to her and trusting what comes out of this course and what it will create, because, you know, this was created from Spirit many months ago, really. We didn't know quite exactly what it would look like, but usually when it comes into manifestation, it's even more powerful and beautiful than what we had first envisioned. But so I'm excited for this. But yeah, the grain, oil, and wine, somehow we were having a discussion a few days ago, and that came to the surface. I don't even know what we were talking about when that came up anymore.
Flowing life into things, I guess that's something to do with that. Yeah.
The seeds. We were talking about
seeds, yeah.
Corinthians, and you were talking about how it talks about in Corinthians about planting the seed. One plants the seed, one waters it, and God makes it grow. I think is
Right.
kind of where that started. And we went back to something that the Father had shown me several years ago about the oil, the grain, and the wine. If you Google that in Old Testament verses, it talks about that like throughout the whole Old Testament almost. And so I kind of tried to do a study on that several years ago. And, you know, I guess there were things that they used that for, but in the discussion of that we were having with Ruby and I, it kind of went back to great wine comes from grapes, and the grain comes from a seed as well, and the oil comes from olive, and that is a seed as well. And so it was all manifestations of a seed from the beginning. And what it like created was something completely different. But I'm sure that that will come up later as we continue this, and I don't want to like expand on something that's not necessary at this point, if that's okay. Um, so we kind of were having a discussion about that, and when I was learning about that a couple of years ago, I kind of had this vision of a blueprint of like how we would have these conferences in different locations, and everyone would kind of bring their seed, so to speak, and it would be in the form of a business or, you know, whatever God put inside of them as their um, purpose or assignment or whatever you want to call it. They would bring that and like set up their own little booths within the business seminars or whatever it was. And through that, it was like we just learned how to trade with one another, you know. And what that created was just, it was just really powerful and beautiful. It's like it was like God put that blueprint in my mind of how certain things need to be set up as we progress forward. And that, I think, is how that whole conversation started. I even had on my Facebook at that time that I was going to start a grain, oil, and wine conferences and seminars. And then I think COVID might have hit after that or something, but it was just really difficult to go forward with that blueprint at the time. But, you know, if it's coming up again, you know, maybe we can still use it for something. But is there anything you want to expand on with that, Ruby?
Well, maybe a little bit when we were also talking about what the grain and the wine and the oil represent. You know, when you were talking about the grain or the bread is the body, and where the wine is the blood, and the
Yeah.
oil is the anointing.
Yeah, in Corinthians, it also talks about communion. And communion, for those that don't know, is taking the wine and the bread and, you know, drinking it and eating it. And Jesus said, when you drink the wine and you remember the blood, and when you eat the bread, remember my body. That's what, you know, the sacrifice that he made for us. And that's in Corinthians for anyone that wants to go kind of do the study on, if you don't know what I'm talking about. But, you know, it went back to also the bread being made from the grain. And so that was representing the body of Jesus. And then also the oil representing the anointing. And obviously the anointing represents spirit, I think, in, you know, my interpretation and understanding of it. So, you know, everything kind of flows and ties together into communion, unity, oneness, learning how to trade and engage together. You know, everything is really, it can be used in business. And, you know, this just fits in perfectly with what Ruby is creating, that we are literally coming together, having communion with one another, learning how to live from the patterns of Jesus and learning to flow with spirit. And it's just beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, there's so much joy and lightness to this, what you were just saying. Wonderful.
Can I add something?
Yes.
Thank you for that, Deanna. I appreciate what you shared. It's beautiful. It's, and I love the way it flowed together and just the progression of it. Because the other thing that the Lord was talking to me about this morning, as I've seen this keep coming up, because I have women, even men, actually, a couple of them have come to me almost to like be coached as like a coach coaching coaches kind of thing. And so I've just been talking to the Lord about it and just really trying to see what wants to be created there, and everything came back to my confidence. And my confidence isn't in myself. My confidence is in the Lord. And so as I was getting ready this morning, I was asking him, what's the true root? And he said, it's intimacy. And so I loved what she just touched on, because that's the wine. That's the wine. That's the beauty of entwining yourself in union with God, becoming one spirit with him is it's like fine wine, the intimacy and the confidence that you start to step out in when you surrender to spirit is not about confidence in what I could do. It's confidence in what he does through me as a surrendered, yielded vessel. And the way that it comes forth as that fine wine is from the intimacy that I have within me. And what sparked that was, Facebook always brings up your posts from a year ago on this day, you did this. And it was like, I had searched for those posts and I had no idea where to find them. But it was right when I came into the deep love of God, it had shifted from my head to my heart when I had my awakening. And I was so consumed with the love of God that I just spent so much time just being with him in that frequency and developing that intimacy, and it just was pouring forth out of me. And so I just wanted to really put that in right here, because she was talking about the wine, and that's what that is it's like the crushing of the grapes and the olives is what brings about the oil and the wine. You crush, you get crushed. It's a crushing.
Right.
Happens.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with rain. It's the chaff that you throw it up and the rain falls. It's the splitting up, And so the result of it is oil and wine. And so what is it that you're doing in your alone time, in your time with your source, with God, with Holy Spirit, that will produce that oil and wine and fine wine, And so
Yeah.
for me this morning, as I was talking to him about what to really impart to other people, I didn't realize it would even come up in this place, because I was thinking about with like doing a Zoom with maybe some coaches or something. I was just creating with God, and it was about the intimacy. And that's where your confidence is. It's never on yourself. And when you have so much confidence in that intimate union and entwining, you don't even hesitate to surrender and step out into the unknown. And it can really help those people that really are, I'm more of a popcorn prophetic person that moves around in the spirit, but I really do value those that are so structured, because I need that structure. It's a more masculine energy there. And it's like those that are very masculine and need just ABC 1, 2, 3. It's so hard for them to just open up and move in the spirit. But if you can move your confidence off of yourself and what you've always known in your schooling or your certificates and all these things, then you can just find your confidence in the connection and the union, because that's where you get to know the love and the character of God. And you know that he would never, ever, ever embarrass you, and he would never have you step out into a place where you would not be held and supported. In fact, even if you guys think about it, in this whole awakening process, we've had to let go of some friends and people, but there's been others that were already right there. There's always something that's already been right there around you before you're ever asked to actually let go. And so maybe you just haven't been open to see it, or whatever. But anyway, I just wanted to share that, because I think that comes forth from just that intimacy.
Yeah. Well, actually, Jessica, what you've just given away is what I called the bottom line in the bonus session. So yes, but that's exactly what it's about. And I called it like the bottom line, but that's exactly what it's about. It's that intimacy, and it's that relationship, and it's that, well, the truth, right? It's your truth, and it's what it's thank you, but it's I mean, everything flows the way it wants to flow, and I was like, I wasn't allowed to sort of say it yet earlier when I touched on it, and now it's because it had to be in this way in the conversation. So thank you. And now you guys know when you read it and when you see bonus session and you see bottom line, that's it.
And I even had to overcome areas of intimacy with God that were not coming forth because of, I had to be honest with myself about, you know, I had taken on shame that wasn't mine, you know, and
Yeah.
so there's healing even that comes forth in that process, and a letting go of things that no longer serve you, so you can really step into that next place.
Yeah. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So where are we right now? We're 55 minutes in the hour. We started a little bit late. So are there any questions in this group so far? Anything you want to know? Anything you want to touch on? Like, you know, it doesn't have to be about this course or what we just said. Like, if there's anything coming up for you right now, just let me know. You guys good? Yeah. Anything for you, Mindy, with what's been discussed? Cool.
I feel a huge weight in my chest, so I don't know what that's coming from.
What did you say?
I feel a huge weight on my chest.
Right. I feel some heaviness
After I
too.
spoke.
Like,
don't know
who
what
does
that's
that belong to? Okay, maybe we should do that. Like, all of the lies that we bought, that we are still holding on to and not willing to let go. That doesn't allow us to choose for our highest good in total freedom. Will you please destroy and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, unsure, boys, povits, and beyonds. And all of the decisions that you made, that you are judging right now because you see them as wrong, will you revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate all of that times a gazillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, unsure, boys, povits, and beyonds.
How about the clearing on all the contracts?
Yes,
you
it
were
was
talking
just
about
coming up.
earlier?
Yeah. That was just coming in. All of the promises, all of the oaths, vows, swearings, fealties, commitments, communities, binding and bonding contracts that you made in any and all lifetime, or that your ancestors made in any and all lifetime, that you took on as yours, that were not for your highest good. Will you now please revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate all of that times a gazillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, boys, povits, and beyonds. And I will rephrase that one because I have to right now, and we can go in a little bit deeper in the full course. But all of the oaths, vows, swearings, fealties, commitments, communities, binding and bonding contracts, promises, commitments that you made to the devil in any and all lifetime, will you now please revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate all of that times a gazillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, boys, povits, and beyonds. Tear it up, burn it, whatever you need to do. And allow any portals of darkness to close and the portal of light to open. And all of the yells and screams that you hear right now that are aching, that are pulling you, just tell it to let go. Tell it to be quiet. You're no longer listening. It's not affecting you anymore. And all of the heaviness that you feel, what if that is not yours? You just took it on. It's not yours, so please return it to sender. Right, wrong, good, bad, purple, connections, boys, poets, and beyonds, and everywhere where you bought it as yours, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, purple, connections, boys, poets, and beyonds. And truth, are you still willing to choose that which is not for your highest good? What will it take to be willing to choose only that which is for your highest good? And everything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, purple, connections, boys, poets, and beyonds. Now going down to, what are my next steps? What is it? What am I going to choose? What is that choice for me? And just ask, like, why should I do this? Why should I choose this? What is my next step? Like, do you really feel like you deserve fulfillment? And just ask, truth. Am I allowing myself to be fulfilled? Yes or no? Like, what if I would choose to be fulfilled? Not just what's in it for me, but what's in it for the highest good of the evolution of consciousness, of the evolution of the planet, of the evolution of humanity. And what is the contribution here? What can I contribute? What's the contribution for you if you would make a choice? But there's this energy exchange that is just there for us to create greater together. And then, well, truth, can you afford to wait? Like the whole element of procrastination. Why are we not choosing it? Are we not yet willing to be it? Why are we holding back? Why are we choosing to not shine our light to the fullest, to the brightest? Why are we not willing to just be the full energy of love and be the killing energy at the same time to kill all of the unconsciousness and anti-consciousness? Why are we not willing to be that killing energy? And can we afford to not be the killing energy? It's like, fuck, like what's going on in the world right now, right? What's happening? Can we afford to not choose it, to not be the light, to not be the killing energy to unconsciousness and anti-consciousness? Look at it. Can we afford to choose that? And everywhere where we are still looking for a reason or justification to not be the light, to not be the killing energy, to not be the unconditional love, can we please destroy and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, connections, boys, poets, and beyonds. Having a reason not to do it is not an excuse. Like, we can come up with reasons and justifications why we're not ready, why we're not willing, why this happened to me and my life is bad and this has happened and my parents so-and-so and my grandparents and my ancestors and my neighbors and the government and I don't know what, but like all these reasons and justifications, can you really use that as an excuse? And is it worth it? And everything that brings up and lets down, let's destroy and uncreate all of that. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, connections, boys, poets, and beyonds. Like, are you done with what you see around you? Like, I don't want to go into things that are negative, but like people in pain, people with sickness, people with depression, the abuse. on all levels. Like, are you done? Are you willing to just let it roll on just a bit, just a bit, just a bit, and let the devil play? Or are you ready to choose? Be the light. And you know, we have free will. We can choose anything. And there is always time. The earth will be here for a while. You don't have to worry about that. What are you choosing? Anything, Deanna, from you or Jessica? Because I think I've said what I wanted to say.
Times just massive energy lifts. So I'm very grateful because I was feeling like a weight was on my chest. So that was awesome. Thank you.
Right. You're welcome. Any closing remarks from you, Deanna?
Yes, I will just do my role and function here and establish what has been spoken and created. And there's two things that I felt is like kept hearing is hold your position and don't waver from that. And also, like, whenever I have found when we create things, usually something will come to test to see if you believe. And we also have free will to choose what we allow in and out of the gateway. And the way that we have this set up, there are certain things that are allowed in and out and not allowed in and out. But what you choose in your own personal life through how you live your life establishes what you allow access in and out of your gateways. And so that's a little bit of a different terminology maybe for some people, but we can go more into that another time. It's just important that I say that in that way for this session.
Yeah, and it could be something we can go into definitely on the group sessions. And yeah, like the other day we were talking about, like, you know, when you talk about the CEO of your business, it's you know, it's governing what is going on right there. Like, there is so much more. But thank you for that. That is definitely true. So yeah, if there are no questions here, I guess we're just gonna finish this call. I would like to thank all of you for being here and bringing your energy to this. It's been amazing. Well, if you guys have any questions, anything that shows up, just let us know. And yeah, just let us know what you get and what you're willing to choose, and if this at all is something that you would want to do. Yeah.
So if I may, before we go, I've kind of been in and out all the call, busy working here, but wow, when I first met you guys, I was in a really pretty good spot, I thought, in my life, but it turned out that it was more how do you say, I was in a really good, comfortable spot. You know, I really wasn't interested in doing anything else at the moment. And, you know, being around you guys has really stirred my heart to, you know, Ruby, you've asked me some questions and you just ask them generally to everyone, but they pierce me like, I mean, like somebody sticking a sword straight down my throat. You know, and I can't just let that stuff go. I have to deal with that stuff. And some people may be able to. I just can't. I mean, I wrestle that stuff day and night until I find the answers. And you know, right before, or just I guess when you first started this talking about starting this course, at least bringing it out into the open where I knew about it anyway. I had nothing. I've spent 40 years being in and out of different types of businesses. Me and my wife have done just tons and tons of different things, and they'll rock along pretty good for a while, but they always tend to find their way to just fade out. Or, COVID hit the last one and just really ripped out a really good thing going for us. And it really does just mess with your whole psyche about that kind of stuff. Well, maybe I'm just not supposed to do that. Maybe I'm just supposed to continue just working for someone else. But I know that I've been called to be a very wealthy man. I know that. I've known it my whole life. And my whole life I've always chosen God over pursuing finances or anything like that. I laid down a lot of opportunities just because I would literally hear the Father say, "No, that's not for you. Wait, just wait, just wait." And I'd stay pressed into Him and keep going. And so, two or 3 weeks after you first posted this thing about this course, my son came to me and he said, "Dad, we have to do this business." And I'm like, well, it turns out that my son works for chemical pump supply places where they build these chemical pumps, and they repair them and they sell parts for them, and which in our industry, I'm in the oil field, so our industry is just really saturated with this kind of situation. And turns out that over my working life, I've spent years and years doing that kind of work. I've rebuilt a lot of the type of things that he has, maybe not specifically the ones that are out on the market today, but I mean, I've just, once you've done one, you've done most of that kind of stuff, if for what that's worth. Anyway, so I've told him 2 or 3 times. I've called him up, and there's just excitement is just building within me that this is an opportunity that not only do I have an opportunity to step into business again, and I really feel the backing from the Lord saying, "Yes, this is it, go for it, go for it." But I've got the opportunity to step in something with my son, and this son in particularly has really struggled in life. I mean, he's really had a lot of challenges in his life with drugs and that sort of thing, which we're not here to talk about. But it's an opportunity, since he's been cleaning up his life, to come to me and say, "Hey, man, we got this opportunity. Do you want to help me with it?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes, this is my heart, that me and my sons can build something together, not only for us, but as you were talking a while ago, the scripture came to mind in First Peter. It says that the prophets of old were, when they were given understandings and things, that it wasn't just for they came to understand that it wasn't just for them, but it was for those who came after them. And the next verse says that even angels long to look into these things. And I literally just really have been engaging with my angels again in a really deep way in the last few weeks. And I just really feel like that everything around me is just saying, "You've got to go in this way." But here I am. What I'm trying to say is that I've had lots and lots of failure at this sort of thing in my life, and I know where my abilities lie. And as far as running, being CEO and that sort of thing, that kind of stuff is foreign to me. I mean, that's like speaking Greek to me. I just don't compute that kind of stuff. But what I do know how to do is I do know how to build the pumps. I do know how to talk to people. I do know how to engage with that stuff. I do know the parts that are needed to do this stuff. And I have abilities where I see my son over the past few years. He's been stepping into more of those organizational things, running the shops that he's working for, talking to the customers, doing the books and doing those sorts of things. And then with stepping into this with you guys, I just really every since I've met you guys, everything in my life has shifted and it's moved up and pressed up and keeps going up. And for that, I'm extremely grateful. So I think it's again for such a time as this that these things come to us, you know. Um, so Donna, I mean, that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you. Yeah, and for that, you know, shifting part and all of that, it's like sorry, but no sorry. Just
No, don't be sorry.
part of the deal, right?
Right.
How does it get better? Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Bucky, and it's amazing. And again, you saying like, you know, that CEO thing is like foreign language to you, like the way that you are expressing yourself and the way that you're explaining yourself. What if you already are the CEO of your life? Like your life is your business and your business is your life. So, you know, what if you're doing it just by being it? You're already
That's
rocking it.
that's what I've kind of been coming to the conclusion of.
Yeah.
You know, it's not me. It's just well, it is me, but it's the Lord coming through me and the people that are supporting me and spiritually supporting me and backing me and
Right.
you know, loving me and saying you got this, you can do this, and the
And that is
support of
what
my
this is
friends.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, cheering you on.
So-
That support of the
Yeah.
tribe has been huge.
That's it.
Exactly. Having each other's backs and just allowing the support to just flow through anybody and everybody. So
Right.
I see Mindy's hand raised. Mindy, do you have anything to say or a question? Thanks, Bucky.
My question was, let me lower my hand here. That didn't work. There we go. When is the cutoff time for signing up for this?
Well, on the Monday the 8th is going to be the first week where we're going to do all the onboarding calls. So it would be great to have it like, you know, before the weekend or on the weekend to be able to plan all the onboarding calls. And then on the 17th of May, it's on a Wednesday, we're going to have our first group session. But I want to have all the one-on-one onboarding calls done before that group session. And depending on, you know, the number of signups, we need to sort of work out.
So the weekend before May 8th, is that what you
Yeah,
said?
so it would be, yeah, so it would be coming weekend would be great.
This coming weekend?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Okay.
Monday. Next Monday is the 8th.
Yeah,
It's already
exactly.
May. I can't even believe it.
I know, it's so fast. Yeah. Is that I mean, I hope that gives people enough time, but it would be great to just have some time to you know, to have all the one-on-one onboarding calls and to just have a good preparation.
Hey, Ruby, in this
Yeah.
week, this might be a place to put this or not, but forgive me if it's not. Is it possible to do weekly payments, like $100 a week as we start the course for those that would really desire to be in this, but they're trying to collect the funds for it? Is that an option to get on like a once a week to move forward?
Yes, and I might be, where are we living now? Maybe we could even do a little bit better than that, than the once a week like we have now. Like, see, it's the beginning of May. You know, if we could do a couple of payments like now in the beginning, you know, one halfway and one before the end, yeah, absolutely. I'd be more than willing to talk about that. Let me know if you really want to do that, because the link with the discount is just a link, and when you sign up you have to pay through the website. So if you want to do like in different like in 3 installments, let me know. I can send you a different link and we can just do some PayPal payments. We can set them up if that works for you. So yeah, reach out to me on a private message and we can definitely set it up.
Thank you.
Creativity of it's part of our creativity.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we gotta, you know, move the way that the creation wants us to move. And yeah. We can work anything out.
Amen.
Well, we're definitely going to do this. I know we both feel very convicted to do it. It's just, yeah. Things have been so ridiculous. So,
Right.
but I appreciate, I think it was Deanna who was talking about holding your position and, and I wrote down that, before a breakthrough, there's always a test because this is there's a lot of things that have been said that I have been hearing, I've been getting these recurring messages, which I take as, synchronicities from the universe, to keeps telling me the same things over and over again because I haven't quite accepted it yet.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
Awesome.
I do know that we are going to do this one way or the other, and that it will be very pivotal for us.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so again, thanks to everybody. Yeah, let's stay in touch. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and just thank you so much for being here. I will share this recording with the people that are here, and there are a couple people that signed up and requested for the recording. So it will not be posted on social media, but I will send out the recording to a couple of people, just so you know.
And
And
so what would be the next step for our next, I'm sorry, my microphone broke. What would be the next step moving forward to be part of that onboarding one-on-one? Is it that when they're paid or set up with you, then they'll get an email that would
Yes.
start that one-on-one process that next week?
yes, when you sign up with the sign up link, and if no one knows where to find it, I can send it when I send the recording, so you get the sign up link. If you want to have installed payments, I'll have to give you another link. So just ask if you need that. And then you will get an email. We have a private Facebook group for this entire course, and you will get the Zoom link. You will get a recording folder where we keep all the recordings. And the idea is also to have that private Facebook group so we can ask questions, in between the meetings. I will also go live in between the meetings. I'll, go live and share some stuff. I will do clearings if that is required. I will just, we'll have so much more interaction in between the calls. It's going to be a wild party, and whatever it is that you need to share, or you have some questions or anything else you would like to post, we're just there to support each other. And yeah, everything will just lead up to, you'll get an email, you'll get a Calendly link, so you can just book a session for the onboarding one-on-one, and you will get all the dates for the group sessions. It's going to be on a Wednesday, same time as now. If you cannot make it live, you will get the recording, of course, but be live as much as you can. Yeah, I guess that's it. You will get all the information after the sign up. So
Thank
it's
you.
most of it is automated, but yeah, the technique is only as good as we, as much as we put in. So no guarantees there.
I have one more question. You said it will start at this time. How long do you anticipate the group sessions going for?
Good question. I think I have it set on 2 hours. Let me just check. Let me check what I did, because I forget. An hour and a half. I have an hour and a half for each group session. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Thanks.
All right.
I'm so glad everybody came. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for being here. And so if there are no further questions, I'm going to end this call. And if any question pops, just reach out to me and I'll be happy to answer it. Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes, love you too, Ben. I adore you. Thank you for being on. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.